let's first let's start at the top of the market. So BTC and ETH. So way down. We got BTC way down. I mean, it's down, and people are panicking in the regular market. But topped out at 73K already this year. We're down to about just below 58K for BTC right now. ETH is hanging out at 3,100. It was as low as 29 at least, I know, the other day. Huge liquidations. The day after we got off the air last week, the 4th of July, we had all kinds of liquidations. Actually, I think the biggest one since FTX in terms of Bitcoin. So in the crypto market anyway, I should say. So the biggest liquidation event since FTX. That's November, what was that, 2022, I guess? Yeah, November 2022. Which was just a complete and utter hellscape for anybody that was around back then. I mean, if you want to talk about fearful times, I mean, I know people there's fear like within pulse changes because prices are down right now. But I mean, in terms of fear in the overall market, November 2022 was when guests on Joe Rogan were saying that the BTC price was going to go negative and blah 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 blah. So that was fun. But yeah, Bob Lucas, I was going to bring up too. I know you're not a fan of Ewok, but in terms of his 4-year cycles, I definitely am a fan. He was talking. He thinks we've definitely bottomed and mentioned buying. He just, he's a long-term kind of investor with BTC. So he mentioned buying his first huge batch of BTC since those bear market lows back in November of 2022. So his confidence was right here in this mid 50K level for BTC. And this other weird angle, there's a lot of people out there on Twitter, apparently, this is just something I heard because I've been staying off there as much as I can, but that actually think that, hey, this was like a triple top. This is the end of the bull market. Like, this is it already. We're heading down. This time's different. All those kind of narratives. So let me get your take on any direction you want to go there, where the prices are at, whether the end of the bull market is here, wherever you want to take it. I'm interested in your thoughts.
Well, historically, like we have said many times, after the halving, what was that, April-ish, there is always a pullback. Well, it kind of did a weird run up first, and now this is that pullback. Has that Bitcoin pullback stopped? Well, I don't know. This candle's, it's looking pretty bullish. And the strength of the RSI is definitely headed back up in the right direction. It's taken a pretty sharp turn here if you look at it. Usually when they make this move real quick, it's a good sign. Now that could easily turn around with a bad day. Obviously, that would level that back out, but it does look like it's headed in the right direction. Was that, what is it, 53,000? Was that the top of the or the bottom of this pullback? There isn't a whole lot of support until you get way back into December of 21. This was resistance, a lot of resistance here, and then it was support back here in April of 21. So these levels, while they do have some touch points, it is kind of looking that way. So, the one I'm more anxious to see kind of what happens with, obviously, I think we all have our eyes on Ethereum a little bit more than Bitcoin, just because of a
lot more
ramifications, and we're a lot more closely tied with the Ethereum chain because you bridge right over into Pulse Chain. Obviously, there's a lot of value from Ethereum. There's some major wallets out there that hold a lot of Ethereum. So, obviously we want to see that do well. And I had originally said that I thought we would be at 4,000 by the beginning of July. Well, here we are 10 days later, and it took a nice healthy shit. You know what I mean? So it did this. I kept this here, and it's funny how it did bounce off of this trend line. So I thought that was kind of interesting. As soon as this ticked down, it basically touched it. I haven't moved this in several weeks or months anyway. It was back in April when I think I drew this on here. So it's funny how that touched that trend line, and it just kind of pulled right back up, and now we're on our way back up. So, with the ETF stuff coming down the pike, I really think this has been the bottom. Doesn't mean we can't have another pullback, but I do think this is pretty much it.
I'm with you. I think it is too, and I know we're still, not far off of it. We haven't made like a huge recovery yet with BTC, but I do think it's the bottom for that. You were more so talking about ETH there too. I mean, I think so as well. And yeah, I mean, it's been a matter of time. Like ETH has to close in on BTC at one of these times. Now I know, of course, there's the Bitcoin maxis out there that still apparently have no idea what Ethereum is at all and believes it's a scam of some sort. I don't know how that even could still exist, but it does apparently. And we've seen that ratio ETH to BTC recover a little bit since the ETF announcement, but it still isn't at a good spot. And we're
Nope.
still waiting for that to kind of shake out. So I know last week when we had our open mic and talked with Briz and all those guys, we kind of speculated on like October, November, more and more people. I mean, a lot of people, this isn't a new thing just because of the pullback. People have been expecting this fall for where things would get more bullish in the ETH and alt landscape anyway. I mean, I think that's basically where people have been looking.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, I know people are upset about price right now, but and we'll get into this when we talk pulse chain, but like, I feel more kind of comfortable, I think, and at ease than ever, just because I think we're just looking at time. Like, I understand the intraday stuff really sucks. It sucks to have a bunch of meme coins that go down 25 to 30% in an hour. I mean, that does happen. It sucks. I understand that. The intraday is very, very difficult. That's why we have Frank Molina on a lot, and he talks about the importance of not focusing on that as much. But that's why I'm kind of comfortable right now, is I feel like we're just looking at time. And I love that this cycle does appear to be playing out exactly as it always has now. And many people were duped into the left translated. We gave it a lot of credence on this show as far as talking about it, because why not? I mean, BTC hit a new all-time high before the halving. I mean, that was pretty insane. But we've gotten exactly what we've been expecting. Maybe not the pullback the whole way to where we thought, but a healthy enough pullback in a long enough period of time where it looks like we have a normal cycle here. And that excites me a lot, because that's like, hey, we got a lot of time on our hands. You said to me before the show, we've got like maybe 17 months left, which is fantastic.
Till the top. And to your point, it's one of those things that you can't put a value on, and that is time. I don't think there's a way to value that. And it's, it goes back to the philosophies of RH, where it's that delayed gratification. It's that the time in the market is what matters the most, and that's why I still feel that Hex is going to be one of the most important things, because people are locking up for so long. I don't know if you've seen much of what Crispy's been saying, but how many T-shares are actually out there into 2039, which is right now a 5555 stake. There are so few, and I think there's going to be a big tidal shift as far as some of these people who will be the new whales, because there are so few T-shares that are locked out there. Now, as we get closer, obviously people will do the shorter stakes, but right now, is if you're not capturing them now, they're going to be super hard to get. Being a mental asylum. Well,
I think he already is.
That's the top. I know he lives in a pink padded room as it is anyway. So I'm just kidding, brother. But yeah, that's the thing that we don't talk about is that time element that you really can't put a price on. And it's so important to be able to, go with the flow until that time happens. And so important that it's not given enough credit for what it really is.
Yeah, I hear you. Didn't want to go down the whole Hex T-share rate, but if that's where you wanted to take it, that's fine. But
it has a lot to do with time. I mean,
it does.
That is basically
Crispy. Yeah, and Crispy does put out amazing content for that. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, no, and I'm with you. I mean, as far as the time thing, yeah, I mean that's the element that's actually hardest for everybody. We talked on this show a lot throughout 2023 of people getting shaken out and capitulating because of the time factor, not so much the price, just like we're not moving, like nothing's moving. What do we do? And we've talked so many times. I mean, like we may have 2-3 months of a process where things do go parabolic eventually here, and it's like you're playing for like 3.5+ years of mostly negative market sentiment, or at least boring sideways stuff, for an absolute, blow off top. And that's
that blow off top is so short, right? I mean, 3 months, 6, 5, anywhere between 5 and 3 months. Usually is when most of that action actually happens. It reminds me of the
Mhm.
old meme. It's one of the old memes. I haven't seen it much lately, but it's the thing there with the stick
Stick. Yeah.
poking Bitcoin. It says do something.
Mhm.
It really is. That's what it is. But now it's like the whole markets are kind of, in that period where we just want it to do something. We want it to go up. Obviously, do something can mean go down too, and we really don't
True.
want that. But just that sideways action does get pretty monotonous after a while.